You're tuned into news across the galaxy where they talk all things LA Galaxy with the Nag Boys. Let's start nagging.
Eight. Undefeated at home.
If you're experiencing an erection for at least 4 hours, please consult your nearest medical facility. If you got an erection as soon as you saw the live News Across the Galaxy pop up, then we're flattered.
Welcome to News Across the Galaxy, where we talk all things LA Galaxy. I am one of your co-hosts, Bryant Lois, and of course, tonight with me is Eduardo, Mr. Campos. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing good. Sorry if you see me here like texty. We got some Nag boys that got stuck on the celebration, so we're
Yeah.
maybe get one or two of them in a minute. But I'm doing pretty good. I mean, I was feeling sick the last couple of days. I was able to recover and with enough time to go to the game and then go watch some sick ass fools play instead.
Exactly.
What's up? How you doing, Brian?
I'm a little tired. It's been a very long day. Had to kind of host some new folks that came to the game. Shout out to mom and pops. But aside from that, I mean, a win at home against a very good away team. We got to see the LA Galaxy show their teeth. So I'm happy with that. But anyway, do we have any housekeeping, sir?
You know what? That was my job. Let me see here. I don't think so, though. I mean, I don't know if there's much you guys can think of that we may have missed in the news as far as Galaxy related goes. Even MLS wise, did you guys hear that Messi got knocked out?
Oh, I remember that. The Messies. Yeah, I remember that team. The team that won the Supporters Shield and is no longer in the playoffs. Yes, I remember those guys. Aside from that, I think we're good, no?
I think so. I mean, it feels like a long time ago since that happened. You know, I don't know. It's that it's funny because it's that whole Garber. By the way, we need a wellness check at the Garber household. You know, now he got no Miami, he gets no El Tráfico.
Somebody check on the admin too, because
The wife needs to pack up some things and stay at the sisters for a little while. You know what I'm saying? That may not be the safest place to be at right now.
I could imagine. Well, we were getting into the LA Galaxy game. There was some MLS games before the LA Galaxy played. Yesterday, we seen New York versus New York play against each other at MetLife Stadium. What was it? Whatever. The Mets.
Mets Stadium.
Yeah.
That's so funny, dude. The fact that you don't have your own stadium as it is, and you play at a baseball stadium, and then you run into the situation. This is a embarrassing thing when it comes to MLS, and if you're like a newcomer or just an outsider, right? Like just like a fucking Euro snob or something, looking at this league and what a joke, right? Let's go back to the Vancouver thing, right?
Mhm.
How there's no priority in the playoffs. Now with fucking the situation with
The Red Bulls in the city.
the Red not the Red Bulls, the New York City. New York
Mhm.
City can't even play at Yankee Stadium because of whatever. They're home, and it's a baseball stadium, and have to play at another baseball stadium. And then even with Levas, I think the previous round they had to play a different day because they had a concert. And if I'm not mistaken, if they would have made through, they would have played on Sunday because of another event. Because they don't give priority to a playoff game. Imagine, especially here in LA, or New York too, right? Imagine like the Lakers not being able to play the Staples. It'll be forever the Staples, or the Knicks not being able to play at Madison Square Garden, or the fucking Yankees not being able to play at Yankee Stadium because there's a concert or something in a playoff game, not just a regular game, a playoff game.
Yeah, and to that, I think it irks me more because New York City ended up winning the championship.
Yeah,
Wouldn't you want to see them hang the little ass banner in their own stadium, a soccer specific stadium?
that little pillowcase.
And I think that was one of the requirements of the new teams that come in. You needed your own stadium, soccer specific stadium, and
But but
happening.
but if I remember correctly, they did have a plan, and something happened with the city of New York, and it fell through. So that's not entirely. Well, I don't know. I don't know. That's kind of whatever. Fuck them.
Yeah, one of those things. Yeah.
Well, like you were saying, those games.
Um, Red Bulls versus New York City.
Yeah.
The Red Bulls ended up taking that game 2-0 in a match that I think could have been a little bit more intense. But the OGs of this league ended up taking that game.
Yeah.
And then after that, our crosstown rivals face a familiar foe in Seattle Sounders. Did you think that match was going to go the way it went?
Not really. Yes and no. By the way, how wonderful a fucking LAFC and LAFC East both get eliminated, huh?
LAFC East.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not really. Tony is here in the chat, but he can tell you that I felt that it was something had to give because Schmetzer hadn't beat Cherundolo in 10 games or something like that. And no, I think Schmetzer has never beat Cherundolo. Actually, he hasn't beat Seattle like in 10 games. He hasn't beat LAFC like in 10 games, but he's never beat Cherundolo. And I was like, something's got to give. I think Schmetzer's had it. He's too smart for this. Yeah, they're a little depleted or whatever. So I told Tony, and I know you guys are in that group chat that I'm no longer in, whatever. And he asked me, what do you think? And I told him, I thought he had said that. I told him it was going to be 1-1 and Seattle's going to win in penalties. Now, that's what I thought going in. But once they tied, though, and then towards the end, Seattle looked fucking gassed. I thought, oh, man, they're going to go to overtime. They're going to get rolled over. So, yeah, I didn't think that Seattle at the end was going to win once we got to the 90th minute.
It seemed that, well, in this match in particular with LAFC and Seattle, it seemed like Brian Schmetzer coached that team to victory. It seemed like whatever adjustments he had made in those final minutes, it worked out for him. And Morris ended up scoring a goal. Somebody that we hate, somebody that as U.S. fans too don't want him in the national team, and he ended up. You don't? Oh, well, not no more. Not no more.
No, I've never hated Jordan Morris. I was the one that said that a healthy Jordan Morris would have been useful in that last World Cup.
And they ended up taking.
I hate Roldan.
Oh, which one? Which one?
I did equally.
Yeah, and a Seattle team.
Which one? Yes.
And a Seattle team that have had a history of catching heat at the right moment to get into the playoffs and making a run at a cup. They were the boogeyman for LAFC in this match. Again, eliminated them in an important match to go into the next round. Something that I might be worried because we're gonna have them at our house this time around in a conference final. But this team, I mean, it seems like they are ready to compete.
Yeah, but it's Schmetzer again, bro. You can't fucking take it too easy against Seattle or get too confident in Seattle. No matter, dude, if for whatever reason they put 10 people on the field, I think as long as someone like Schmetzer is coaching, it's not Bob Bradley. You can't be too confident. Obviously we're excited here. We think, well, one win away from MLS Cup, and hey, we're starting to GoFundMe. We gotta get Tucker in here into LA
Yes.
for a final. My boy needs to see a final. Him and his boy Damien need to come in. But yeah, dude. it's somewhat. I'm probably gonna get ahead of myself because we'll talk about the going into the match. But somehow, once they got eliminated, I was like, oh, like if we don't make it to the final, I find peace because at least I know Levels aren't gonna win. And then, but now it's like the path is so easy, or like easier that it makes me uneasy. And then it's Seattle. We've gone to battle with Seattle in how many freaking conference finals,
Yeah. Yep.
So you know how these games go. We had that Juninho moment. We had that Sarvas moment. Hey, we got a Brazilian now that maybe he'll give us another moment.
Oof, and we'll talk about the Brazil later on. But we got
We got what? What'd you say?
a super chat. Outlaws forever. Thank you, sir, for the donation and for your shout. Today, Orlando took on Atlanta earlier in the day. A matchup that has been a rivalry since Orlando was in the league and then Atlanta came in.
I got a question, by the way.
Yes.
It's relevant to this game, and then we got some MLS heads here in the chat, and then the questions for you too. How do you feel about McCarthy? Because apparently there's people, including the guest that we had from Atlanta, that wasn't excited when they signed McCarthy. Dax McCarthy.
Oh man, Dax McCarthy. He is, to me, from what I've seen, he is the solid veteran that you want on your team, regardless of if you're competing or not. Somebody that's a good locker room guy, somebody that shows his skill set on the pitch. May not be the best, but you can learn a lot from him. It seems like he was one of those guys. Fair to say?
Yeah. I mean, Tucker. Dax is a legend in my eyes. He stayed MLS. He maybe only played in 2 teams, right? Dallas and Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken. Unless I'm missing one more. Oh, he played in the Red Bulls, I think, actually. But yeah, I mean, he isn't your highlight kind of guy, but he's the guy when you see him on a team sheet, you're kind of like, oh shit, watch out for this dude. This guy's solid. And yeah, I was kind of surprised. So hats off to him. Dope career. Now he gets to go put his feet in the sand and
go fishing.
Take it easy. He said they interviewed him after the game, and he said like, well, I'm just kind of happy that I don't have to go through another preseason right now. Dude is done.
The old man lazy, they don't go no more, dude.
We're talking like that, and he's younger than us. He's probably younger than us,
and way better in shape than we are, bro, by far. And he still has dreads going through that training camp. Yeah. And the thing is, that Atlanta story is very intriguing. In the decision day, they went to Orlando. They were the underdogs.
Yeah.
Went to that stadium, came out with a win to sneak into the playoffs. Surprised against Montreal. They saw their old friend Joseph Martinez beat him in penalties. Then they did the unthinkable of beating the MLS's darling, Miami, in a series that you would have thought that Miami would have had since game 1. It wasn't like that at all.
Right.
Do you think their Cinderella story ended how it should have? Or do you think they deserve more than that?
Yeah, no, I don't know if I got to talk to you before, or I know Edgar knows this. I know we were talking before the game. It was like, you can't do that day in, day out. That was a lot of Guzan, and I think it's kind of hard to get up and get motivated the way you did against a Miami, right? If you see your keeper going against arguably one of the best players to ever play this game, shutting them down. Like I said, MLS ain't for everybody, baby. Yeah, but if you saw your keeper doing that, you're gonna want to come through for him.
Yeah.
And I just felt like Orlando, and me, I'm a fan of Oscar Pareja too. Yesterday I was telling Tony and Cisco, I was like, honestly, don't even be surprised if Orlando rolls over them. I mean, they didn't obviously, but I just think that's it. That's a nice feather in your cap, dude. As shit as Atlanta's season is, we heard it from our friends over there in Scarves and Spikes. Edgar does a great job in getting those guests, and we'd hear from them how bad it was going for them, and to just sneak into the playoffs and be able to pull off that. If Miami never wins, if doesn't win a title with Messi, because next year we assume it's gonna be a whole different roster, and you're not gonna probably have all your Suarez's and fucking whoever the fuck, Pele and Maradona, whoever else they brought in.
Yeah.
They're gonna remember who eliminated that team, right? And
Gave him that sour
it's
taste in
gonna
their
be
mouth.
it's gonna be Atlanta, and then that's something. Hey, Dax can hang his cap on that. My last season, I stopped Messi at his best shot at winning a title, the record-setting fucking team, the fucking team that the freaking president of FIFA came in and gifted this team a fucking a Club World Cup, and we took them out, right?
Yeah, 100%. And more kudos to Atlanta because they lost players like Thiago Almada, who was a very good player. They lost Giacomakis, who was a very good striker, and they just played ball. They were gritty. Shout out to Derek Williams, who plays out there, who was an ex-Galaxy player, who has been pretty solid with them. And to see them go that far, I mean, it's a good story when you're an MLS fan because you want to see those teams like that go in there and just fight for whatever it is that they need to fight for. And it was good to see. Orlando came out on top 1-0 today. Not surprising because, I mean, I think Orlando has a way better squad on paper. Yep. And they should be rolling over teams, but we'll see them and Red Bulls fighting it out for the Eastern Conference.
On stat wise, they were the hottest team, right? Second half of the season,
yeah,
some shit like that. So it's not surprising, and maybe at least for Orlando, I mean, I can tell you now, for me, I can think is an easy pick because they're the higher seed, but I think that's who's gonna make it to MLS Cup on the East side.
And I was just gonna ask you about that. How do you feel about the Orlando Red Bulls game? Do you think the Red Bulls could surprise Orlando at their house?
You never know. I mean, the way things have been going, but
yeah,
if I was a betting man and I had to put my money somewhere, I think he goes right. And this is Oscar Pareja's first or second. I don't know if he was a coach for Dallas when they lost in that final, but it's either his first or second trip to MLS Cup. So I think he's due. Too bad it's going to stop there. That's as far as it's going to go, though.
And the surprising thing about the East is that the top 3 teams were knocked out fairly early in the competition.
Yes, and the greatest part about that is we fucking talk shit about the East. They were like, "No, the East is better." We're like, "Fuck yeah, the East is top heavy," And look at them now.
Yeah, all the 3 top teams, which is Miami, Columbus, and Cincinnati, out. And to me, I think the biggest threat to the LA Galaxy getting a cup was going to be Columbus. Mm-hmm. But, psych as fuck. Now let's move to the West. We have an opponent in Seattle coming up next. But before that, we had to face a Minnesota side that was pretty solid away. Yeah. Could you go through the starting lineup of today's match, sir?
Luckily, I pulled that up. Yeah, sure. So they came out with the following lineup. I'm a little bit surprised, and you can tell me if you were surprised here. Well, we had John McCarthy in goal, John the Rock Nelson, the People's Champ.
The People's Champ.
Well, yeah, he was there for the millions.
And millions
of Galaxy fans in attendance. Then we had Maya Yoshida and Garces in the center back roles. We had Mickey Yamane at right back. Then we had in the middle a different trio. We had Marco Royce, Ricky Puig, and Cyril. Then out left we had Joseph Pinto at right, Gabriel MV Peck, and Dejan Joveljic as the lone striker. I'm assuming maybe, or I shouldn't assume, but maybe you were surprised the way I was.
Your assumption was correct. The Marco Royce start was very surprising to me. Yeah. I thought that Vanny would have went with the secure midfield trio that he usually goes with, which includes Delgado. Surprising that he didn't start. But surprising that Roy started. Dude, I would have thought that this man would have come in the second half to just finish off the game. That was my thought. To start off this hot with a player like, I mean,
Well,
I didn't hate it.
we're jumping a little bit ahead as well. Trying to buy Edgar some time because apparently he's supposed he's gonna jump in, but that's 5 minute Edgar's whatever. Um, driving up to the game, man. It's 10 a.m. or whatever. You had your plátano frito, your
Yes,
frijoles
sir.
crema at this point. How you feeling driving up to this game, dude? Feeling confident, nervous, excited?
I was excited. Not because I guarantee they win as a Galaxy home, because the LA Galaxy hasn't lost in at home at all. And before we get into that,
Oh my god.
hello, Edgar.
What is up, guys? You guys hear me okay?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Yes,
Good,
sir.
good,
Yes,
good
sir.
timing, Edgar. So
Perfect
we're talking
timing.
about we're talking about here that it's 10 a.m. You're having your Nicaragua version of plátano frito, frijoles, and whatever the hell you guys monkeys, whatever you guys eat for breakfast. You're driving
Same
up.
thing, Pooh.
You're driving up. Wow, we don't eat monkeys. You're driving. You're driving up to the stadium. You're bumping your Static X and then Chalino Next, whatever your crazy playlist is like. How you feeling at this point, Edgar?
Cautious optimism, which is something you've heard a lot from us, especially me throughout the season. Um, I I mean, let's be honest. When we found out that LA Galaxy was going to be in this half of the bracket, we looked at the other teams on their side and we're like, damn, whoever's going to come out of there, they're going to run the gauntlet, man, because it's not going to be easy, especially for us, right? If we would have been over there, ooh, it's the same statement that was echoed by the guys from the Lunacy podcast, the Minnesota guys. When I spoke to them, they said, "Thank goodness we didn't end up in the side of the bracket with Seattle or LAFC or Houston because those teams we've never done well against them, but we feel more confident against the teams on this side. They obviously took on RSL and they beat them, right? And then they're up against us. So I look at that and I'm like, all right, this is a game that is definitely winnable, and I'm looking forward to a victory in this match. I said 2-1, right? Because they have a good defense. They hadn't given up. Had only given up 3 goals in the last 7 matches.
Didn't look good
And
today.
damn, it rained on them today.
Hey, Raina. Eddie, how were you feeling before the match?
I
What
mean,
was your drive up like? What
was my drive up like? So I had Guti, then I had to go make the difficult choice of what I wanted to have as a beverage, and I went with Stella 0.0. You know,
Great choice.
Not
it
bad.
was an interesting choice. And then it was a chill drive. What was I playing? I'm like trying to think like what was I playing? Oh yeah, dude. Shout out to David. I know David Godino will listen to this later. Cause me and him, that's my hetero LA Galaxy life partner right there. So we've been through it all. We used to have this tradition. I bought my first season tickets with him 18 years ago now. Next year, goddamn. And we used to listen to one more time by Daft Punk. So I called him because he texted me about the game, and then I sent him a picture of me playing one more time. I was like, dude, you need to listen to one more time on the way to stadium. So I educated Guti in a little classical music, I had the Daft Punk going. And,
Classical.
and then yeah, we took the shuttle, the Delamo shuttle. And by the way, if you've never taken the shuttle, don't take it. It's already too packed. But it's a great option if you don't want to pay $40.
Was your head in somebody's armpit, Eddie?
Wait. No, it wasn't that bad.
Oh, okay,
It wasn't
okay.
that back then.
They
By the
were
way,
loud.
I want to touch on something because I was coming when I was jumping on. I heard you guys talking about the playoffs, right? Just in general. Uh, Orlando, right? Orlando versus New York. Let me go back to something that happened really early on in the season because you guys know I'm an MLS sicko and I follow all the different pods, right? I follow pods on the East and the West, and I remember Orlando had just lost a really tough game. Like I think they were like 3 games in, 4 games in, and they were having like a literally a town hall meeting, like an all points bulletin, all hands on deck. You know, the world is ending. This is it. Our season is in the dumper, and they were talking about how, oh, our season is over. You know, we're like 1 win and 3 losses. You know, fire the coach, fire everyone, burn the whole thing down, start over. And I'm listening to these people, right? Because I was on, it was like it was a Twitter, space, and so I jumped on, and some of them recognized me, like, oh, it's Edgar from News Across the Galaxy, and I was like, thank you. So I jumped on, and I was like, what's wrong with you guys? I was like, you have a good team. I was like, and I told him, I reminded him, you guys have a good team. You came close to winning, some tournaments in the past. You won the Open Cup. um, you guys are gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right. Don't worry about it. And they're like, yo, you don't know what it's like to be an Orlando fan. I was like, look, I'm looking at you guys. You guys have a really solid team. You're gonna be there at some point, and you're gonna look back and hear what I said, remember what I said, and you're gonna be like, hey, that guy from LA, he was right. And I was like, there you are. They're there, right? So you got to watch out for them. They have a really good goalkeeper, and they're one of the teams that some people said were going to be a dark horse coming out of the East. They're not a dark horse. They're not a dark horse. Now, as far as us, well, Minnesota was the dark horse. They're gone.
Yeah. Well, let's get into that lineup. Eddie
Let's get
called the
into that
lineup
lineup.
right now. Um, were you surprised that Marco Royce ended up starting in this particular match?
I
Seeing
think
that
everyone was.
I think everybody was in shock in that one. What was it that shocked you the most though? Because he's not
Just
match fit, because he's been injured, or because should he have benched Delgado? I know the result didn't show it, but was that something that maybe could have gone a different way if Delgado would have started?
Eddie, you want to go first?
Oh, sure. You know what? We'd have to go back to the last time he started, and it felt like the right decision when we played uh, LAFC, right? And we saw why he started. You started to see the class and everything in Marco Royce, and we haven't really had that option maybe since, or I think a game after he also started, or he didn't because it was a short week, something along those lines. But we haven't had that because he was coming back from injury, so we haven't got to experience that. And we forget. I think we forget that he came back from injury this last time. He was coming off the bench, only playing literally garbage time because we were killing these teams. Now you had these 3 weeks for him to recover more and train more. So I think if you really look at it like that, and you ask anybody that watches soccer, and you watch it, you talk to anybody that watches soccer, maybe not like the biggest Galaxy fan, but at least familiar with MLS, and you tell them, well, in a playoff game, who do you start? Do you start a healthy Marco Royce, or do you start Mark Delgado? I think the obvious choice is going to be Marco Royce. So I'm just trying to look at it like if I was Vanny. Obviously, I'm not Vanny. I'm here, but it's it's surprising, but I get it. I get it, and obviously, spoiler alert, it was the right choice. Um, we saw we saw a dominant team and a team great in possession.
Might be
Yeah.
a little bit.
I will. I will say this, Eddie. The last time that we saw Marco Royce start was against Houston on Decision Day, and that didn't go so well. He was obviously coming off an injury, and he did he
Yeah,
did not
that's
look very
keep
comfortable.
that in mind. Keep that in mind. Sorry to cut you off, but that's kind of what I was trying to say. We didn't have that Marco Royce, the
Oh,
healthy
okay.
Marco Royce, and the
Yeah,
last time we saw that, it went the way it went, but it wasn't against Houston.
yeah. I was surprised because I thought that, like I said, I'm being pragmatic, right? Against a team like Houston, I don't want to take them lightly, and at the same time, I want to make sure that if things don't go the way LA Galaxy wants them to in the first half, you have somebody like a Marco Roche you can roll out there in the second half and bring things, rein things in, and make sure that LA Galaxy remains within the game. And if it's close, give them that extra little push to put them over the top. But he started, and the one thing I will say that right away what he did was he brought that calming effect on Ricky Puig, right? We always say you bring him on the field and Ricky, all of a sudden Ricky doesn't feel like he has to do everything. He doesn't have to like run back and try to carry the ball up the field. He doesn't have to try to create on his own. And Marco Roche didn't show up on the stat sheet, but he was doing all a bunch of other little things. And the thing that gets me about him is you see him out there, and to him, he looks so unbothered, right? It's like he's like maybe like taking a walk down the street and he's just kicking the ball, here and there, like da da da, whatever. I've seen it, I've done it. Yeah, it's like whatever. He looks so chill, and I like that. I like that attitude, but so because it brings that everybody kind of relaxes him, and they're like, all right, if he's cool, we're cool.
Yeah, Eddie, you had something to say with that?
No, no, it's that, right? I think it's a team like Minnesota is where you want that guy with the cool head, and it's a team that, as fans and everybody knew, like, we should beat this team,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And I always go back to that press conference after they beat LAFC, when after they scored the third goal or fourth goal, whatever it was, that Royce turned around and told Ricky to relax, to calm down, and I think that's what Royce brings in. Right? I mean, it might be infectious, it's like, hey, there's a lot of soccer, we're the better team. Take it easy,
yeah. That veteran calmness, whatever his experience is just you can't really measure it with stats.
Oh,
I mean,
oh,
you
oh,
could,
oh,
but
oh,
but it
I
just
got your, I got your back, Ricky. It's what Sasha Cushion wishes he was.
hi
That's
Sasha.
what Marco Royce is.
Dude, is Sasha in the doghouse for a while?
I
Because I mean, we loved Sasha, right, at the end of his
No,
Galaxy
yeah, it's
career,
all it's all
but he's
friendly
like in the
banter.
doghouse right now, right?
Yeah, yeah. Once he sees this, he'll text us and he'll be like, "It's all good, guys."
it's all good, guys.
Hey, like, yeah, I'll take you guys to In and Out. We're all good.
So the ball kicks off.
Oh,
First
wait,
half,
wait.
gentlemen. Yes,
We have
before
a
we get
super
into that.
chat.
Oh, let me look at that. I think we already.
Eddie,
Nope.
you wanna handle it? Are we gonna do it like Tommy from Scarves and Spikes, where he's like super chat?
Well, you just did it.
All right, go for it, Eddie.
Did you guys have
Oh,
hope
no?
Seattle would win versus LAFC? I did. Well, yeah, my prediction was almost almost on point. So like I said, I'll just say Schmetzer. That's all I said. That's why I thought that it could happen. It was Schmetzer's time to get that win.
Once again, winning in
Stupido, whatever his name is.
yeah, once again winning in a BMO Field or whatever it is now. The Chuco
Albumin
Stadium, the
place.
public
I would.
restroom stadium.
I say this. I was on the MLS Battered Fans podcast last week, representing Galaxy, right? And they had a guy on there from LAFC. It was supposed to be somebody else, a guy that I really have a lot of respect for. Really nice guy, and he wasn't able to go on, and they had somebody else jump in. And some guy I've never seen before, but apparently, he's like he likes to stir the pot. And right from the bat, he's like, "Oh, you got a guy from Carson on here," and I'm like, all right, whatever.
Oh, you're one of those.
And so they had me, they had a guy from Seattle, a guy from all different teams, right? And at the end we were doing our predictions, and I was like, yeah, hopefully it'll be 2-1 Galaxy. And Connor from Lunacy Podcast was on there, and he's all like, yeah, hopefully it goes to penalties for us. And the Seattle guy's like, yeah, I'm hopefully Seattle makes it like 1-0, 2-1. The guy from LAFC is like, forget all that. It's gonna be like 5-0 LAFC 3-0, whatever. And like you can see people in the live chat saying like, "No, pendejo, don't say that. What are you saying? Seattle's a good team. These are LAFC fans, right? They're like, no, they're a good team. How can you say that? Don't say that stuff. Don't put that, don't put that evil on me, Bobby."
One of those situations.
So,
Yeah.
damn. Oh,
Yeah.
Eli, look at that.
Yeah,
And Adam.
Edgar, you represented the Galaxy. Was like everyone else busy. What the fuck?
Yeah, man. Everybody else was
Everyone
taking a
else,
nap too.
everyone else was busy.
Yeah, the Galaxy podcast guy wasn't available.
We got two super chats.
Go,
Here we
Ray,
go.
you have these.
Here we go. Okay, read them off.
Adam says, "Thank you so much, Adam. $2 super chat." He says, "I am glad Ricky posted the video from Decision Day. Yes, yes. Especially after we found out that the same referee was going to be in there, the same one from Decision Day. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of people are like, stupid ref. I'm like, dude, Galaxy have only ever lost one game with this guy, and it was that decision day game, which they lost in the final minutes. So this ref shows up, and I know people are like, don't read too much into it. It's just a referee. But if you look at the tea leaves, when this guy is refereeing, Galaxy always wins. So yeah.
I mean, it just seemed that MLS always favors their darlings, and well, yeah. I mean, with
Are
that
we
video,
the
that
darlings now?
no, we're the most hated. They don't want to see the Galaxy win anymore, bro.
man.
They don't want to see the Galaxy win no more. And then, lo and behold, today's match was a beautiful match played by the LA Galaxy, and let's get into that first half, gentlemen.
Hold on. We got another super chat.
Go ahead.
We got two of them actually. Super chat from $10 from our good friend Eli Lesser, who I saw at the match, and I'm gonna upload something tonight regarding Eli on Instagram. But Eli says, "Sending love, what a night, G's up."
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And another
you gotta
super
pay-
chat.
you gotta spend $10 for Edgar to be that excited to read it.
Eddie,
Go
you want
ahead,
to handle that last one? From Adam?
All right, hold on. Let me do my best Edgar impression. Even if the team across the town would have won, they have a concert at their stadium on MLS Cup final December 7th.
Perfect.
Yeah, you know what's
I did
interesting?
that for $5, bro.
Thank you, Adam. The funny thing is that came up in the conversation, and the MLS batter fans, and the guy's like, "Well, let's have it at SoFi." It's like, all right.
To address what Tucker said there in the chat, he said, "You're bugging. Of the teams that are left, we are definitely MLS's darling." You know what, though? It's
Yep.
not by choice. Because now they got to
Nope.
squeeze whatever they can,
Yep.
bro.
Now they have
gotta
to be.
because we're the only one that's going to generate any kind of viewership and any kind of money now. That's why I think Josh's guest was one that pointed out that now all of a sudden, like, the MLS admins have all these triple P and the first team that's going, get the fuck out of here.
All of a sudden, you guys want to give us a shout out. Get the fuck out.
The one whisper I kept hearing around the stadium was, it's probably MLS would love to have Galaxy versus New York to kind of like echo what happened in the World Series. I
Good
mean,
luck with that.
what are you gonna get? Seattle versus Orlando?
Nobody's gonna watch that.
The numbers don't matter. They won't go up unless the Galaxy is in the final. And that's not just speaking as a Galaxy fan. It's just because we have the global fans, because of the Beckham era and all the big names we had. So it doesn't. I mean, if you hear the whispers, I don't know, whatever. But I don't think a New York or Orlando in the final is going to make a difference to the numbers. It's only if the Galaxy is on the west side of the final.
And you're absolutely correct. Just real quick before Brian, you could take over. What during the game, I was getting messages from I have a couple of friends that live in Europe, a friend in England, a friend in France, and they were up watching the game. And it's like the middle of the night over there, and they were like, "Yeah, go Galaxy! We're supporting you guys." And I'm like, "Wow, that is so cool." So you're right, Eddie. That global brand, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
Always right.
The most historic franchise in MLS. Of course, you want to see them keep winning titles and representing the league and what it is. And with that being said, first half of this match against Minnesota, gentlemen, we went up early.
I was gonna say first half. You mean the first minute?
First minute, right away. Did you guys
Well,
think we were going to run away with it right from the beginning, or do you think there was still going to be a little bit pushback from Minnesota?
You mean before the pet goal or after the pet goal?
Right when we scored, it was early. It was an early goal.
I mean, I didn't even get a chance to sit down. I was like, scarves up. Okay, I'm about to sit down. Oh my god.
What you think, Eddie?
that's a tough question, right? Because it's a goal in 37 seconds. You can't. I mean, you can't really predict anything.
Yeah.
You can't.
I mean, it's like a boxing match. You've seen boxing matches where somebody gets knocked down like right away in the first round, and then they compose themselves, come back, and end up winning the match later on. So we that's the thing where like you talk about so much about Minnesota's defense, right? And boom, goal right off the bat, and you're like, wait a minute, what the hell just happened, right?
Well,
And is it going to happen again? Are they going to settle in and make things uncomfortable for the LA Galaxy from this point on?
What,
That was the thing that was running through my mind.
would it make you more stressed the fact that we scored in 37 seconds and within the 6th minute they responded?
They almost scored twice, I think, right?
They scored
Before they
in the 6th minute. I want to
Sixth
say.
No,
minute,
but
yeah.
before that, they had a couple chances too, I think, before that.
Oh, what I'm saying though, like, because you talked about like, oh, did you feel we were gonna run away with it? It only got asked it like 5 minutes, even if you felt like that. I mean, that must have felt way, like it must have like took your confidence completely away if you were feeling that way. Because it was like you said, there was chances before that, and I feel like we were getting beat a lot in the same way, and I'll get to that at the end because one of my awards has to do with that.
Real quick, we have another super chat.
Go ahead,
Okay,
dude.
super chat from Adam. Real quick,
Stupid
sidetrack.
little chime, bro.
I love that shit. I love it.
You're like a wizard, huh? Yeah,
Go ahead.
all right, so Adam asks, thank you, Adam, $2 super chat. He says, do you guys think the team across town will fire the coach? Damn, that's a good question because they've come so close to
Yeah,
winning many tournaments. They only have 2 trophies to show for it, really.
yeah. They're gonna
I
fire
don't
him and get
think
that
so.
Martino.
I really, really, really don't think so. Because they're about to reload with Griezmann and maybe find the pieces that they need to make something out of Giroud. Because right now he is one of the worst DP signings in league history. Um, so who knows?
Douglas
But you know
Costa's
what?
on the phone.
There's an old saying from Sun Tzu. He says, if when you see your enemy making a mistake, don't interrupt him. So keep doing what you're doing, LAFC.
Yeah.
True.
This reminds me of the Borat little meme. We get Mexican player, they get Mexican player. We get French stars, they get
They
French
get French
stars. We get 6 trophy, they cannot afford.
Perfect.
Man.
1-1 before the 10-minute mark hits.
Wow.
That was a nice
thi-
goal, man.
Was this something that you expected from a semifinal conference matchup between these two
Hell
teams?
yeah.
Especially a Minnesota team who is very good on the road. They're very good in the aerial attack as well, something that we can't really take care of for some reason. Our set pieces, defending that shit is the worst. And then you see a Minnesota team coming into our house, confident now. 1-1 before the 10-minute mark. What's happening with the LA Galaxy, Edgar?
I just felt like that goal, which was really nice goal, it kind of sobered things up for the LA Galaxy. It was just a reminder that in these playoffs this year, nothing is guaranteed. I keep saying that. We saw that with all the top 3 guys in the East going down. We saw that with LAFC, obviously, and so I think it was a moment to remind you that if you didn't take care of your business, if you didn't make sure everything was in order, you were also going to be added to that list. And Minnesota is a team that, um, wasn't going to lay down. Now, after the match, and we'll get back to that later. I guess I can address it later. But after the match, some people were tweeting me, right, and saying, "What was this all about? Don't sleep on the loons. We got to take them seriously. Look at the score." And I was like, exactly. When you don't sleep on someone, when you take them seriously, this is the result. Because you make sure you handle your business, and then you whoop them.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. But the thing is, what kind of had me a little bit shook was the fact that in less than 10 minutes, the score was still equalized 1-1. The teams were attacking. They had us kind of on the ropes in those first 10 minutes. And then Jovic said, nah, 18th minute, let's put us back up.
Nah,
Eddie.
freaking Michael Royce put on the poke high fucking jersey and said, served a dime, bro, too, and of course, great finish by Dayon, and what a nice plot twist, right? That we get a goal off a set piece instead of conceding one.
Yeah, 100% on that. And I'm a big Jovic fan. I know we've said this shit a bunch of times in the show. Well, you guys, we needed a striker.
We still do.
Yeah, we still do.
Yeah, we still do.
But Jovic just showed you guys that he could
Mind
do
you,
it.
mind you, you can fast forward to the paint seal goal. Hey, let me present to you Exhibit A.
Exhibit A. Yeah. In the 37th minute, Paint Soul gets on the board as well. Let's go through that goal. Edgar, how did you see that goal?
Oh my god, I tweeted about it, man. So I'm sitting there in the match, and I'm like, all right, we're up 2-1. Yeah, hopefully, uh, everyone else starts to, you know, produce more. And then I was like, you know what? And I said this to the guy next to me. I was like, um, somebody who's been real quiet all match. Haven't seen anything from him. I think maybe he's got one or two touches. Joseph Pinto. I was like, he hasn't done anything. And I swear to you, literally, like 5 seconds later, he gets a pass and scores. I'm like, what the
As
hell,
scripted.
dude?
It
That
was
is
in the script.
crazy. It blew my mind. I was like, all right, go, Joseph. Damn, bro. So yeah, that was nice because
At that moment,
you want all your guys to be clocked in. You got all your guys to be dialed in. I'm sorry, that's what I meant to say. You want all you guys to be dialed in and to be producing, and not just be there as like a secondary character. They want them to all be protagonists.
yeah,
And
and one of our DP players showed up in in that goal. One of the things that I was maybe not surprised, but that the LA Galaxy on the way that they attacked, I think what Royce provided in the offensive side was very beneficial to our guys that were playing right next to him. Um, Something that maybe Delgado can't do, which is why maybe that Royce started in this match, and he showed what he could do in big matches like this. Once again, he's a veteran, a big player in Europe, and he came here to show what he has, and this is exactly what he does for the team. He opens up spaces, he keeps everybody else around him calm. In particular, Ricky, who usually tries to play hero ball when nothing goes his way, and he showed that with these, the go ahead goals after that 10-minute stint.
Just
Yes,
like
sir.
in the chat right here, el escudero de LA. Shout out to Laguna. Roy showing quality on those set piece deliveries,
Yeah.
right? Another reason why, the him starting over Delgado made sense, right? Because this is another quality that he brings in a dead ball, and I said what a nice what a nice whatever opposite, I forgot what I said, thing to happen for us to score off of set pieces, because we haven't consistently had that quality on the field. So
Yeah. Yeah. And at that moment, 3-1, 37th minute, you're like, all right, the team's going to run away with it. But towards the end, there was a penalty call. The first shot should have been counted as a block. There is no way they should have ran that back, right, Eddie?
oh, what?
They shouldn't have
Oh.
ran that back, right?
Oh, am I supposed to talk like just a Galaxy bias fan?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Who cares if he was like
This is
3
Music
feet
Across
off?
Galaxy, bro.
Yeah, all feelings, no facts. You know what? Look, McCarthy. Yeah, he whatever. He stepped over a line, but what are these lines, right? They're just things that restrict us from
Imaginary.
greatness. No, I don't know where I was going with that. Yeah, it was. He definitely was far off the line.
Yeah. The one thing I will add to that is at halftime I ran into Eli and we were discussing that, and he said, I'm really, it really bugs me that people can get away with that, where like they do that stutter step and then they pause and then they take the shot, right? But he's like, I guess it's just something that's here to stay. It's just, they do just enough to keep moving, right? And the ball goes in, and it's like, damn, is FIFA ever gonna outlaw that? Probably not.
You know what?
But it did just enough to throw John McCarthy
And
out of whack.
I don't want to lose this thought. That's why I keep cutting you off. I was doing some stuff on some work, and I had YouTube playing in the back. I started with like fucking Vice or something. I'm always, I always watching Vice, and then like went to like the National Geographic thing, and then it ended up on this when Levos won the title, and then like it started. And McCarthy was talking about penalties because he came in for Crepeau after he broke his leg in the final, and he had to face the penalty shootout. And he talked about how, oh, when I go for penalties, I don't care, or said something along those lines, because there's no pressure on me, because the advantage is meant to be on the attacker. So yeah, it is here to stay, because it's supposed to be an advantage for the strikers. So um, it's just one of those things where that stutter step could have got him, but that's literally part of the game. As annoying as it is, like I hate stutter stepping.
Yeah.
I man, I'll toot my own horn when it comes to penalties. I'm a pretty great penalty shooter, and I never stutter step. I don't think Brian's ever seen me miss one.
Nope. A la
Yeah.
Landon Donovan.
A la
Same
Land-
spot
no,
every
that,
time.
nah, that fool,
Same
that
spot
fool's
every
missed.
time.
Nah, don't tell people. That fool,
That game against
Donovan is. I've seen Donovan miss more penalties than me.
in Superliga. Oh my gosh.
Superliga,
Yeah, you
MLS
don't
Cup
talk about it.
2009.
Yeah. Um, but somebody who used to stutter step on penalties and did a lot for us was Robbie Keane. If you
Did he
guys
really? I
remember.
don't remember.
Yes, he used to be like, he used to run up, boom, boom, pause, and then boom, shot. And yeah, that's the first time I saw it, and I was like, damn, that's kind of messed up. The guy's a pretty good scorer already, and now he's doing that.
Yeah.
Um,
And we
so
conceded
yeah.
that penalty towards the end of the half. 3-1, you would have felt confident to the half. They scored that going to penalty. 3-2. The half ends. Did you feel this confident that the LA Galaxy was gonna go to the second half and score another 3 goals?
I didn't feel good at all going into the half. I'll be quite honest. Wait, was it 3-2 at halftime? Are you sure? I could
I
have sworn
think
I
so.
did. Uh,
Yeah. Early goal.
yeah, 3-2. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I didn't because I felt like the Minnesota was dangerous and was had some it gave us some nervy moments. There was times where the ball was before the penalty. I think it was the ball was bouncing around in our box, dude, and McCarthy had to call off defenders because it was just a fucking scramble and he had to run out and get it. So they were giving us shaky moments, dude. So 3-2, nah, I was not feeling good going into halftime.
Edgar, what about yourself?
At halftime, like I said, I was walking around the stadium, and I ran into the guys from Lacuna. So shout out to them. And we are discussing that, and I said, hey, LA Galaxy is a second half team, but I kind of feel like they did so much in that first half. What are they going to bring in the second half? And I was like, yeah, let's see, let's see what they do. And I mean, we look at the score, right? The final score, and you're like, damn, they really brought it. But at that point, you're like, I mean, Marco Roche isn't coming off the bench. The guy was there in the first half. What do you do? Do you bring him, Mark Delgado? I mean, obviously that's what ended up happening. But the question was like, can they still use that second half moxie that they've been using all along? Oh my God, did they bring it? Because it didn't take long for them to like step on the gas.
But no, yeah,
Literally.
and at halftime, I was with you guys. I didn't feel that the LA Galaxy was gonna be able to come into the second half and then score those 3 goals. It seemed like Minnesota came in to spoil the party for the LA Galaxy, especially in our home turf, which we've been undefeated the whole season. They wanted to ruin that party, and well, spoiler alert, they did not. Second half starts. 50th minute. Gabriel Peck. Yes.
Can I
Eddie.
take it?
Yes,
Can I take it?
sir.
All right. Look, it's okay if you think Ricky Puig is the best player on this team, right? But let me tell you right now that you're wrong. Gabriel Peck is the best player in this team, and I think if we get a couple more years of him, he'll be the greatest player to ever put on this jersey. As far as we had Zlatan, of
Ooh.
course, but we caught Zlatan, in later stages of his career, still did amazing things for us. But if we get Gabriel Peck in his prime for a couple more years, he'll be the most talented player we had, I guess, like in his prime to put on a Galaxy kit. What he did in the 50th minute is something that we've never had. We've never had a player that said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna gather the ball in our own final third, and I'm gonna dribble through five fucking Minnesota players or any fucking players." And dude, the guy was like gliding too. Like it looks so simple for him, dude. The confidence that this man has is something we've never seen when it
What
comes to
about
dribbling.
this?
Sorry, obviously Zlatan is confident, but dribbling, right? And
Mhm.
the easy finish too when he gets to the final third. So Gabriel Peck is the best player on the Galaxy right now. And again, mark my words. See, I'm getting nervous. Just thinking about it. If he stays with this team a couple more years, he could potentially be the best player to ever put on a Galaxy jersey. I said it. I said
Well, I
what I said.
mean, Robbie King won 3 titles. That's all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I said
You
a
know what I
few
mean?
more years. Imagine Peck could do it year one as well.
Yeah, and I think I do agree with you with that because we've had a player with similar attributes with Carlos Pavon. But Gabriel Peck has been able to stay
It's
healthy on the
different,
pitch
man.
and
So
have
different.
No,
success
so
with the LA
different.
Galaxy.
You also got Carlos Pavon at the end of his career, man. At that point, Carlos Pavon was in a on a downtrend. Now, Eddie brings up an interesting comparison there between Zlatan and Gabriel Peck. Obviously, Zlatan, world class player. Yeah, we got him towards the end of his career. I mean, towards the end of his career, right? And but I don't know about you guys. I always felt like he was kind of like a rental. Like it's just we had him for a bit, but I never felt like he was really, really part of the Galaxy culture. Like the way he spoke about the league, it always felt like he was kind of aloof. And it, I don't know. I feel like Gabriel Peck is somebody who's young and he's coming up within the team, and he is. We're watching this guy not just mature, but like bloom into the superstar within the league and probably internationally right in front of our eyes. And I've been saying this for a while, and thank you for saying he's such a great player, Eddie. I've been saying for a while that he's MVP pack. I feel like he is the most valuable player on this team. I know people are like, oh, hold on, how can you talk about Ricky Puig like that? I'm not saying anything bad about Ricky Puig. I'm just saying that I feel like Peck is the most important player because there have been times when Galaxy games starts they start and Freaky Pooch, maybe it takes him a while to get going. They're putting bodies on him and he's not feeling comfortable. But who's the one guy that's always the catalyst? It's Peck. He's the guy who runs forward, creates something in the box. He's the guy who, goes ahead and makes that defense get all shaky. And then more often than not, he'll score early and it just opens things up for everyone else. Go look back. Look at all the fixtures. You'll see it. Peck is the one that gets things cooking.
Yeah, and the thing is, he kind of started off slow in the season. It
Yeah.
wasn't until like Ricky had went out for a couple of games that he
Yep.
took over and said, maybe I could carry this team on my back.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
Eddie?
funny because I was watching MLS wrap up, right, and like the lady's like, I forget her name. She's like, oh, no. Oh, she goes, no, Puig is the best player because, uh, for me, it's Puig because Peck wouldn't be doing without the service of Ricky. It's like, uh, you know, Peck Peck got comfortable after when Ricky was out and he started showing up when Ricky was out. So
Exactly. That's when Peck blew up. When Puig
yeah.
was out for those 4 games, it was Peck that carried them.
Yeah, and deservedly so, he had that award given to him, the newcomer of the year. This man has been able to get double digits in goal scoring and double digits in assists, which is something that we've been needing from this LA Galaxy team, especially when you have a Ricky Pooch who kind of pulls the strings in that midfield. You need somebody else to help him, and he's been that and more, to be honest. 4-2. at the 50th. Were you guys so confident that we're gonna end up winning this match? Because we didn't score the other two goals to like the later minutes of the game, which it could have got tricky if Minnesota would have got one on us, and it probably would have got a little bit more intense. Edgar, were you confident after that pet goal that we were gonna win this match and maybe run away with it later on in the match?
I don't think confidence is the word. I was like hopeful at this point. I
Mm.
was like, I was feeling very hopeful at this point. I was thinking to myself, okay, it's a good cushion. It's 4-2. It would take something cataclysmic for Galaxy to end up losing this match. I mean, they would have to fall apart really bad. One of the people next to me said, you know, if they end up losing this game, Greg Vanny would probably end up getting fired. I was like, damn, that's pretty messed up. But yeah, I didn't see it happening. Uh, it would take something really dumb for Galaxy to end up losing this match. Um,
Like missing a
and
penalty.
then, like missing a penalty, right? Because those never come back to bite you in the butt. I mean, damn, how many times do we have to see this? This is why, this is why Connor from the Lunacy podcast said, I am going to predict a 1-1 draw, and then we'll beat you guys in penalties because everybody knows our guys cannot score penalty kicks,
We
man.
are horrible at that, dude. What is happening with those penalty kicks?
And just when you think you found someone that can do it, like a pack, nah, he has to miss one too. Damn, the only one who's 100% is Mickey Yamanen. Just put him out there.
Eddie, was that confidence up at 4-2? Or were you still a
Uh,
little cautious about the score?
I think it was just I was confident, but I was just thinking like, there's no way you score four goals and lose.
Yeah.
That's where it came from, to be honest. Uh, at this point, I still was a little nervous when it came to the defense. One spot in particular, and but yeah, again, it's that it was just that four goals at home. There's no way you lose this game.
By the way, going off what Eddie just said, where he was starting to get nervous, I did too, because there was a period in that second half when Minnesota took the ball and they had a like several minutes of sustained pressure in the Galaxy's defensive third, and I just was thinking to myself, you can't have that much pressure without something eventually going wrong for the LA Galaxy. Minnesota's going to find a crack and make it, a little bit more uncomfortable. Just to give you guys an idea of how possession ended up, because I went to look up the statistics. Remember, Minnesota held on to that ball during that time. It was like a good 5, maybe 10 minutes of some possession that they were like pushing Galaxy into their own half. In the end, the possession numbers were like something from a video game. It was like 73.1% for LA Galaxy and 26.9 for Minnesota. Like, damn, that's
Yeah, that's
impressive.
yeah. And then just for the LA Galaxy to come in the last minutes of the game
And, and then
and
that
tell them, hey, go home.
and then that 26% of possession was them picking the ball out of their own net. That's where it came from.
Oh.
That's what it was. Because in the 86,
Oh, wait, before
Paintel
you do,
said,
before you go on, can we
yes.
just talk about how chippy things were getting?
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they were fouling. There were some hard fouls,
Yeah.
man.
I mean, that's what you expect in the conference semifinals as well. I mean, both teams wanted to win this one. Of course, the home team has more of an incentive because they're home and you have that record of being undefeated at home. Dude, they came to play. Minnesota tried to show up today to play, and whatever it was that they needed to do on the pitch, they would do it. Whether it came to like hitting players dirty or not and get chippy, you needed to do that. You needed to try to knock the LA Galaxy out of their comfort zone, so to say, at home. But it didn't happen because at the 86th minute, Paintsill said,
No, hold on.
"Oh
Something
yeah,
happened before that.
go ahead."
Um, because in the 68th minute, just before Peck missed his penalty, right? Jefferson Diaz from Minnesota got a yellow card. Something probably stupid, right? And so you're like, these guys, at that point, they had picked up like 3 yellows for some very hard fouls, and there could have been some other yellows, but I think it's Rosendo Gonzalez. I forgot his name. The referee decided to just kind of let things play out, which is can be good or it can be kind of bad, like in last night's match, where LAFC and Seattle started really going at each other, and it seemed like things were getting out of control for them. But in this match, he was like, okay, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Peg misses his penalty, and then whatever hopes Minnesota had just completely fell, man. Like the roof just fell on him because Jefferson Diaz picked up another yellow card for a really hard foul, and he's gone. And
Yeah.
and he plays along that left side, and that's where Galaxy attacks the most. And it didn't take very long. It didn't take very long for Galaxy to drive in one nail in the coffin, and then another one. Actually, no, right? They shot that horse dead, and then they dragged it up, and they beat it off some more, and then threw it back into the grave, just for you.
Hey, don't talk about my horse like that, bro. Chill. and they did. The two last goals were what 3 minutes apart, 86 and 89. I mean, at that moment, the LA Galaxy was just on full throttle. They were in the driver's seat. They said, "This is our home. We're gonna beat this team because we have to beat the team, and we gotta send a message to all of MLS and letting them know
Yeah.
that we are here and we can compete and we can win this title." I think that's what this match told me, at least. Could you agree with that, Eddie?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of my things was, I was worried about how easy the path, right, or easy the path had become to MLS Cup. So for me, it was like, fuck, I hope these guys don't get complacent. I even predicted a 2-1 score. I don't think anybody could have predicted this unless you're like a witch. Then please send me the winning lottery numbers. But it's putting the fucking league on notice, bro, and now giving us confidence as fans. Like, all right, yeah, Seattle's gonna be a tougher opponent, but look what we just did to this team. That they talked up as a great defensive team, and also shut out their opponent in Real Salt Lake, who was number 3. But a 6-2 performance, dude. How could you not? How could you not feel confident now and start thinking like, hey, like Chicha used to say, I can't even talk, bro. I'm so excited.
Imaginemos
Yeah,
cosas chingonas.
you got
There
it.
you go.
There you go. Get it out
Can't
there.
talk. I'm
Say it,
still, I'm
Eddie.
still, I'm still, I'm still a little sick, guys.
No, you say it, Eddie. I want to hear you say it. Say it.
Imagine dope ass shit.
Yeah, and the game ends at 6-2. A very dominant win. A very it seemed like the team is just firing at all cylinders, and they seem like they do want to win this championship. And to me, I was surprised that this score was 6-2, to be honest.
It wasn't
15 goals.
touchdown Galaxy.
15 goals in the last 3 matches in these playoffs,
Could've been
and 3
7.
conceded.
Six
That
crazy ass stat that MLS wrap up put today. We scored 16 goals, which is an MLS playoff record. We did it in 3 games. Previous record, 15 in 6 games.
So
We
are
did.
back, buddy? Are we back, buddy?
We're starting to
back?
feel that.
It does.
Starting to feel that way, right?
It does. I think
you know what?
everybody feels good.
I'm pretty comfortable saying that it's almost certain that we're back, right? Because next round is against Seattle. Of course I want us to win, but if you go out on that round, there's no shame on that. And I think that fucking that game is gonna be a real dogfight. So, I mean,
Yeah, it's gonna be a scary one too. Hopefully, we
It
get
is.
a midweek show with a Seattle podcast, but we'll keep you guys updated. Gentlemen, 6-2. The LA Galaxy wins. Yes, Edgar.
Yeah, just one thing real quick. When I checked the Twitter before coming on, I saw that Josh from Corner of the Galaxy had posted something to the effect of, I can't remember the last time I saw LA Galaxy have such a barrage, have so many goals, like such an offensive performance like this. And I've been a fan long enough to remember the last time I saw a Galaxy team dominate with so much ferocity, and that was in 1998 when Galaxy was just massacring teams. Like I think FC Dallas like 7-2 in one game. They beat somebody else, Colorado, like 8-1 in another one. That's the last time I saw a Galaxy team just go in there and just completely dismantle other teams. And but that was in the regular season for that Galaxy team, and they just ran out of gas in the playoffs. They ran into a very defensively minded Chicago team in the end that shut them down. But my God, these guys are doing it in the playoffs. That's nuts,
Yeah.
right? Because it's supposed
Yes.
to be like the best of the best make it to the playoffs, and I mean, they annihilated Colorado, and then they took down Minnesota, and out comes Seattle. And I know Seattle's probably tired after that game against LAFC because they had to play in the rain and they had to go in the added time. And LAFC is no pushovers, right? So they push them to the end. Those Seattle players look gassed at the end of that game. Our guys look fresh at the end of
Yeah.
this game. So it's got to give you some kind of advantage, some kind of hope heading into Saturday's match.
Yeah, and I hope that they carry this momentum into that match because we're gonna need it, especially against a team like that who has a history of coming in hot in the playoffs and doing the unthinkable. Right? They just did it yesterday. Seattle. They knocked out the number one seed in the West at their house. It's gonna be a tough match for us. Yes, Eddie.
Nothing.
Oh, I thought you. Well,
I'm
the LA
here.
Galaxy wins this match against Minnesota 6-2, a score that I don't think anybody had. But for this match, let's get into some awards. Let's start off with the bad ones. Game is off. The classic Geo award. Eddie, whose game was off today?
You know what? I thought I was tripping. I had to watch the replay, and then I just kind of cheated and went to go see who scored. And I gotta say, Yoshida did not have a great game. He was getting turned on a lot. If you look back, basically every dangerous play came through him. So Yoshida was definitely uh, flat-footed. Those 3 weeks didn't do him good. And I'm not sure if I'll give him an award, but you gotta fucking give a lot of credit to Garces. That guy got a foot
Oof.
on so many fucking balls.
Ooh, yes, he
so,
did.
so yeah, it's man, it's crazy, right, Edgar? How many times have we mentioned like how Garces was like this? Like, man, is he even real? What the hell? We signed him how long ago and we don't see him, and
Right.
all of a sudden he's like this secret weapon we just held on to because we just didn't want the scouting reports to be done on him or some shit, So, uh, yeah, but yeah, the Geo Award, so I can pass it on. I'm gonna go with Yoshida. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I was tripping. I just saw Spenny said Yoshida as well. So
Edgar, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I have to agree with that because there was one play where he came back and he made like a last second lunge to stop a shot from Minnesota, but there's no way he was gonna recover in time to stop the follow up. But you know who was there? Garces.
Garces, yeah.
And
Garces.
one thing I love to see is when a defender has a kit that's just covered in grass stains and dirt, because it tells you that that dude has been putting in some work. And Garces was like that from like the
The battle
fifth
scars,
minute
yeah.
on, dude.
The
He
battle
was like
scars,
the end of
yeah.
the game, he looked like Pigpen. He was just all the dirt's coming off of him, right? So, but yeah, Yoshida, man, a good thing Garces was there to clean up things for him. I'm really, 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 really hoping that Jalen Neal gets what he has to get make it to the next step. Because if we have a rejuvenated Jalen Neal next to Miro Garces in the future,
Oof.
ooh,
Oof.
that's gonna be exciting.
Oof. Yeah. I'm gonna have to agree with you guys. Yeah. But to me, it seems like Yoshida's always a step too slow. And it was more noticeable when Jalen was next to him. And now that you have an Emilio Garces, maybe his mistakes aren't that obvious anymore. Shout out to Emilio Garces. What about the honorable mention, Edgar? The You've Got Hartman Award. Who do you got?
Oh man, I'll give it to Ricky. I felt like I mean, there's so many there's so many people you can give it to.
Yeah.
But as far as like the important contributions made to this match, I have to say Ricky Puig, because he didn't play like he had to do everything. And big shout out to Marco Roach for that. But Ricky was Ricky. I've been hearing it the entire season from fans of other teams. The first time I heard somebody really talk about how amazing Ricky Puig was, I think I told you guys I was in Vancouver in some nightclub at 3 in the morning, and the LAFC fan started talking to me, and he's talking about like, my God, este Ricky Puig es una joya. You guys got an amazing player there. Um, and then I heard it from other fans from different teams, like, man, I wish we had a Ricky Puig. The Charlotte guys told me that. I heard it from the RSL guys. I heard it from the Orlando guys. During our conversations, I wish we had somebody like that. And I guess we're so spoiled that we have Ricky Puig there, and we get to complain about him, right?
Week in and week out,
So-
baby.
But yeah, in today's match, he did what he had to do. Ricky Puig,
Yeah.
man.
He
He
did.
got heart, man.
Eddie, your Heartman Award.
I'll just pick somebody else for the sake of being different. But it's not a bad choice that Edgar came up with. But I'm gonna go with the guy that unlocks Ricky Puig. It's Marco Royce. Marco Royce brought that calmness that was needed in this game, and again, it was infectious throughout. Maybe too calm for Yoshida, but everyone else. And then we forgot to mention that little fire in Marco Royce's belly. I love it when like the players buy into it too. There was the little scuffle where they pushed each other. I don't know if they'll go back and see this, but I don't know, or if I was tripping, and I had to watch the game if they caught it. Marco Royce goes in like a little shoving match, and at some point he goes like to the neck. And I was like, "What the fuck?" Yeah, I was like, "What was that?" And of course the assist, the assist to Dejan. So Marco Royce for me, it's got heart, man.
Yeah. I have two players in mind. One defensive.
You can only pick one.
I know. Well, I'm gonna give you my two that I'm picking. We'll pick between.
See, you already fucked up.
Gotta says would have been one of my guys, and of course I gotta shout out Jovic on this one. 2 goals in a playoff match. I think I'm gonna give it to Jovic, the Heartman.
Jovic.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Jovic,
put some respect
yeah.
on that name.
Jovic. Yeah. I know you guys have been very vocal that saying that we need a forward. And maybe we do, but this guy just showed you that he could score goals. He had 2 today. What else do you want from this man? He's been the highest goalkeeper in this season with the Galaxy, and on top of that, he has the assist to back it up too. Might not be the ideal forward that you want, but he's putting them in back of the net, and that's what you want from your forward. The all prestige.
It's gotta be a sweep, right?
Yeah. NAGn standing player of the match. Eddie.
The package make me horny.
Yes, sir. Edgar. I think it's going to be sweep.
Oh, it has to be our boy Gabriel MV Peck.
Yes, sir.
Gabriel
Peck.
MV Peck.
What an amazing
One of a
player.
kind. One of a kind.
And that's with missing a penalty, by the way.
Yeah. And
That's missing a penalty, right?
Yeah.
One of a kind. Say it, Eddie. Dun, 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 dun.
You want to do a frog
One of a
splash?
kind. Yeah, do the little frog splash.
Gabriel Peck. What a player. We have him in the LA Galaxy. That's such a treat. He's a gem. He's everything that he was advertised. The money that was spent for him was well spent. And it's going to be tough to see him go because I know a lot of teams in Europe are going to want to pick him up. He's that good.
That's why I say the if,
Yeah.
if we get him for a couple more years.
He's that good. And I don't think anybody could disagree with him being one of the better players in MLS in general. What he has done with the LA Galaxy, on top of the LA Galaxy being shit last year to what they are now, playing in a conference final again, we got to give Gabriel Peck his flowers.
Yeah.
He's been elite.
Yeah.
Elite.
I mean, I kind of agree with what Edgar texted me earlier. He told me Gabriel Peck makes me question my sexuality. It's like, whatever, dude. But yeah,
My peculiarity, man.
Oh man, dude. Yeah, it's crazy, right? Because it's like you hear this.
I'm a
huge
pecksexual.
Pecksexual.
That's getting clipped.
Oh shit.
I'm coming. I'm just gonna come as hard as I can.
But No, it's crazy, right? Because now we're talking about one game away from going to MLS Cup, and you have a guy by the name of Gabriel Peck that you've never fucking heard of. You know, the dude played in the Brazilian league, so he wasn't even on FIFA. It's not like you could even find him there. And they spent this for the Galaxy's standard a huge amount of money to bring him in. Right? These are the guys. This is the amount of money the Galaxy spends on guys that can both produce on the field. Well, not as of late, but ideally produce on the field and off the field with jersey sales and putting butts on seats. So there was a bit of optimism. I'm sorry, skepticism and because and then also we're trusting Kuntz with all this, and it's all new to us, dude. So it's pretty crazy that right now,
he's the guy.
having this conversation, and
Yeah.
a few minutes ago I was talking about that he could be the best player to ever put on a Galaxy uniform.
If he stays long enough.
I want
If
to
he
put
stays
things
in-
into perspective for you guys a bit.
Yes, sir.
Putting things into perspective, because I heard right. The scuttlebutt is that Will Kuntz had Gabriel Peck on his list of players that he was scouting while he was with LAFC. He was one of those guys that he was like as a prospective player for LAFC. Obviously, he was no longer there. He came to LA Galaxy, and all of a sudden, Peck ends up with us. Uh, when we got Gabriel Peck, I don't know if you guys remember, I had a good friend of our show, Leonardo, who lives in Brazil, and I asked him about Gabriel Peck. I had him on the show and asked him about him, and he said, "This guy's amazing. He has explosive speed. He's not afraid to go, and attack." But the one thing that really stood out to me, he said that at his young age, he was playing with Vasco da Gama when they were, they were going through a really rough time, and he was not afraid to take that team and all their struggles and carry them and make sure that they remain successful and ensuring that they're going to remain in the top flight of Brazilian football. And to me, I was like, wow, this guy has a level of maturity and responsibility that we did not see in somebody like a Douglas Costa, who is a veteran player. So, like you said, this guy he's exquisite. He's one of a kind. To have him on the team here with us,
Yeah.
and to take LA Galaxy from being a doormat for so long, and all of a sudden bringing us to the within the cusp of MLS Cup glory, that's amazing. And he's just
Yeah.
one of the DPs that we have on this team. He's just one of he's one of the guys that you can point to and be like, this guy's good, this guy's important, this guy without him we wouldn't be here. And damn, thank you so much, Will Kuntz. Thank
Yes.
you.
Oh my
Muito
God.
obrigado.
Let's go. Will Kuntz has been cooking. But you know what though? We got to give Greg Banning his flowers too.
Yes.
What he has done with his team, whatever motivation speeches that he gives them at halftime or whatever it is, his coaching tech, he's had these players at home fortify what the Dignity Hill Sports Park is and what it used to be. You come here and now you're scared to play us. They showed it in these playoff series. 16 goals. And he's come on. It's you gotta give him his flowers. Yes. Gentlemen, we're in the finals again. The conference final.
Ooh.
One more time. Can this be the year for us? We'll see.
We got questions though. Did you
Yes,
see that?
sir. Read them
And
off.
I know. Oh, you want me to do it? All right. No,
Yes,
but I
sir.
also wanted to bring something up that I completely forgot to bring up. Is that I was for the end of the game, I was sitting close to the bench, and there was an interesting interaction with Dayon and Vanny when they took out Dayon, and my eyes went straight to that. I just happened to be looking that way or something for some reason, and they were arguing, and Dayon was visibly upset, and he fucking just he walked away, he fucking threw his hands down, and he fucking just they gave him his towel or whatever, he yanked it, and he before he sat down, he fucking just punched the shit out of the bench, dude. And it's kind of 6-2, you're sitting on 2 goals. That's interesting.
It is interesting, and a good thing you bring it up because
You saw it?
I'm part. No, I'm part of the I'm part of an MLS media chat, like I mentioned before, right? We talk to
Uh,
podcasters from around the league, and the guy Tyler, who covers Columbus, he pointed that out to me. He actually recorded the video, and he's like, "What the hell is going on here? What's going on with between Greg Vanney and Daniel Elite? Because why would he have a reason to be upset? I mean, what did Dayon was Dayon upset that he didn't get the chance to take that penalty that Peck missed? I mean, this is Peck's opportunity to score a hat trick. Did like Dayon insult him or something? Like, you're not the bishop, you're just a pawn or something.
Nah.
I mean, it's there's so many things we could think about. Um, I'm not sure. I mean, I know we have the guys from Lacuna on right now. And I know you guys sat in on the press conference. If you guys can maybe enlighten us, maybe something was mentioned in the press conference that you guys know about and you could share with us, because that is such odd behavior, right? And you're up so by so much, you're heading to a Western Conference final. I hope that whatever it was, they settle it behind closed doors so that comes next Saturday, everybody is on the same page, because
Yes, sir.
that's something that might derail things just a bit, and you don't need that kind of negativity heading into the Western Conference
yeah.
final.
Hey, I like
I
my
think,
forwards fiery like that.
yeah.
I like my forwards fiery like that.
I think I might know what had happened. I think he came and they went to give Vanny his hand, and Vanny gave him a too slow, and then
Sick.
yeah, psych, damn, down low,
Damn. Too slow.
in his face, in your face. Oh
Aw.
no, that's probably what it was. No,
Boys,
but
we're
yeah,
back.
yeah.
We're back. We're back.
Almost.
Almost there. We're almost there. Two more matches.
remember, hey, again, I'm stealing it. I'm stealing this from Lacuna because me and Will Coons, we share a brain. He said it.
Yeah.
He's not back till we win the MLS Cup. Yeah,
They're well on their way to win that.
yeah.
If they keep this type of form. And I don't think anybody else in the league could deny that. Um, Gentlemen, pleasure seeing you guys today at the stadium. Pleasure seeing the LA Galaxy win with 6 goals. And we're on to the next one. Eddie, where can the people find you?
First, they can find me reading these questions. So from
Oh, yeah, my
Instagram,
bad. The questions. I forgot about the question, my bad.
through the moral lens, did Vanny adapt to his players, or did he? Okay, let me see what he's trying to say. I'm just gonna read it the way he wrote it. Did Vanny adapt to his players, or his players to his style? Oh, throughout the season.
Vanny adapted.
Nope, absolutely not. I got it. The players did, because why? When Ricky got hurt, Fagundes showed him how it was done. He saw it. Okay, it works. Then Puj adopted it.
Yep, yep, absolutely. This is what Banny Ball was supposed to be from the very beginning, and you had players that were trying to do their own thing. I mean, look at all the different coaches that went through this team before they finally settled on Banny, and then all the distractions, everything that was going on, coming off the COVID season. I mean, what a mess, right? Um, we finally have the right people in the right places to give Benny the tools that he needs to put this team together. And it's interesting. How long did it take him to really get to that point, right?
Yeah.
Mind you, and I keep telling people this in the midweek show, this is supposed to be an LA Galaxy team going through a rebuild. How far ahead of the curve are they?
Oh, way ahead of schedule, to be honest.
Yeah,
Way ahead of schedule.
that's why I said I want to win it all, but I think I'd be at peace if we don't make it. If we don't win it all at this
Yeah.
point,
It's
I
a
still
total
want it.
180. Yeah.
Yeah.
We still
All
want
right.
to see it, but yeah. Next question, sir.
Adam DC 25. What's the probability of winning MLS Cup considering we win our next 2 games? Well,
100%.
that means that
100%. If you win the next 2 games, it's over.
100%. Well, this was before the game. I should have said.
Oh, okay.
It was still hilarious though. That's why I just let it go. I let it play out. I guess if we make it to the MLS Cup, I don't know. You know what? It's funny that I think I was telling this to Guti. It's like Do you guys remember Columbus became Columbus when they made it to MLS Cup? Right, all of a sudden they were unnoticed. They were building quietly, and I don't think now, especially with Apple, we watch as much as MLS as we want to. Right, I'd hate to be in the receiving end of that. Like, what if we discover the new Columbus? As us being the fucking guinea pig, right? Orlando's like the new Columbus and shit, and I don't think so.
Why would you say that, dude?
No, I don't think so though. But and actually, I don't think so. I said I don't know, but I don't think so. But I just wanted to put that out there to fuck with everybody.
Damn.
We gotta stay content, bro. We're too high right now. Right now, we gotta like hold on,
Level out, right? Just
level out.
Chill. I'm a chill guy.
Yeah, you're gonna exhaust and waste all your dopamine.
You're a chill guy. All of a sudden, mustard.
But I mean, if we make it to MLS Cup, then it's ours to lose.
I think so too.
There-
Especially home
you
court
know,
advantage.
There's so much excitement in the air, not just because LA Galaxy is doing so well. What a week, right? Kendrick Lamar dropped a great album that has everybody all fired up. And just a couple weeks ago, the Dodgers won the World Series. So everybody got a taste of what it's like to not just win a championship, which they did in 2020, the Lakers did too, right? But get to celebrate a championship. Now, here's something that I mentioned during. I did a couple interviews after the game. I'm going to post them up later on Instagram. But one of the things that I mentioned was this is for the people that hang out after the games or before the games in the supporter paddocks, right? I said we didn't have these in 2012, in 2011, and in 2014, right? Everybody was kind of spread out tailgating, but here you have all these people condensed in this one area, and everybody, you saw the celebrations after people were drumming and everything. What is it gonna be like if this team goes on to an MLS Cup? That place is gonna be insane.
I tell you right now, we win an MLS Cup. No, well, this will probably be me starting it, right? But fuck it, tear those motherfucking gates down because I remember what it was like when it was open. It's cool and all, but it was better when those gates were down. I'll tell you right now.
Before that, I remember that. It was amazing.
That's what we should do. Hey, this isn't like the Lakers or Dodgers when we don't fucking flip cards or anything. We're gonna tear the fucking gates down.
There it is.
That's what we're gonna do. All right, and then I posted how we feeling after the game. We had Chavez. Pretty easy, pretty simple. He said, horny.
Pretty easy, pretty simple.
We had Raul DARF, I guess.
Raul the Raf.
There you go. You know him, I guess. 2 more wins, and we are lifting the 6th cup. But Seattle makes me nervous. Quiere sexto, pero está nervioso.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah. And then through the moral lens, stay focused and not cocky. Something we kind of mentioned here. And I know we're trying to get out of here. And I don't do the midweek, so I'll just say my thing about Seattle, right? It's we saw what happened over there against Levas, and we're not the same team as Levas. I think it was they squeezed by in the last couple rounds, and it's funny because I was talking to my good friend Josue, who's he's one of the good ones. He's one of the good Levas. He doesn't like only own black and gold clothes. He's a pretty cool guy. Collects Pokemon cards. Like all cool people do, and yeah, and I was talking to him, I was telling him, it's kind of crazy because I feel like they squeezed by against Vancouver. I think towards the end of the season, they squeezed by in a lot of those wins, even against San Jose. When they took they squeezed through. They squeezed into first place at the end. A lot of that felt like they were just fucking making it out, and it was crazy that Seattle game is maybe one that they shouldn't have squeezed by. That's the one that they were probably dominating, and if it wasn't for the Stephen Fry, which we didn't talk about either when we were talking about this game, Stephen Fry,
Fantastic performance.
yeah, the fucking old keepers, they're just balling out. If it wasn't for Stephen Fry, Levos would have made it through. So this is the game that maybe on paper you looked at the stats and everything and watching even the eye test, you're like, this is definitely the game that Levos should have won. But again, it's that they're a different team. They don't have the killer instinct. We're showing that we have a killer instinct. I don't think I don't think we go through that again. Like we don't go through what they went through. I think. Oh, I went blank. Can you guys still hear
Already
me?
froze.
Yeah, we hear you.
All right, cool. It looks better this way, anyways. So, as I was saying, we have the killer instinct. I don't think we have the same problem, right? The only thing that makes me nervous about Seattle is Smetzer, and if Jordan Morris has the same performance, because he was a thorn on LAFC side. That guy was running for 120 minutes. Yeah, but we have someone like Garces. And
Yep.
the thing is too, Seattle's limping in even worse now. They lost, what's his name, Yuhu, whatever his name is.
You.
You.
I honestly thought it was his name. I was just trying to make a joke.
Whatever his
bro.
name is.
That didn't work.
Damn, Eddie, look at you, you're frozen, man.
I know, dude.
I was gonna say something about Seattle, and about that match between LAFC and Seattle is uh we've had two LAFC podcasters come on for the midweek show this season, and both of them spoke very highly about Maxime Chanot, the player from Luxembourg that they picked up, right? And how he's the reason that LAFC was able to really get things going, and he was the missing piece for that team. And I just thought it was some really sick irony that he's the guy who scored that own goal that like started their spiral
What a
down,
finish.
And I was like, damn, the one guy who's been your one savior, and he's like, psych, here you go.
Yeah.
So
Slight
that
Daddy,
was messed
baby.
up. The other thing, and this is something I'm going to bring up in the midweek show, because I'm letting you guys right now know right now that we have a midweek show guy lined up already. His name is Cameron Collins, and he's going to be joining us at some point during the week. Hopefully sooner than later, because I know it's Thanksgiving week. But at the beginning of the season, there was talk about how Seattle was old and they had a lot of aging players. They need to go through a rebuild, and so they saw this is their last hurrah. There's a lot of players that are on the way out. There was talks about Stephen Fry is too old. They have a better goalkeeper, in the flanks that's ready to step in. And damn, look at them now.
Yeah.
Look at them now. Wow.
In
So-
Seattle fashion. In Seattle
fashion.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll give my prediction now. You guys
Go
hold
ahead.
yours because you're in the midweek. So we're gonna 3-1. We're gonna win.
LA Galaxy.
Yeah, we're gonna go to MLS Cup. Marco Roy starts his game, and he's gonna do a master class.
Beautifully done. I love it.
And then he's gonna score. Royce is gonna score, and he's gonna look at where I'm sitting. Like, this is for you, Eddie. And he's gonna turn around to roll down. He's gonna be like I'm like, yeah.
Where can the people find you, Eddie?
Find me in real life, and find me at
Same.
the Western Conference Final at the Digs next week.
Hey.
Brian.
Well, Edgar, where can the people find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky as Edgar Nags. Also find me on Instagram as Edgar Nags. Like I said, I have a couple interviews and some other tasty videos that we'll be posting tonight. So look out for
tasty.
those.
You have to go to your OnlyFans for those tasty ones.
No, that's
Blue
Chewy,
Sky.
man. Chewy's the guy with the OnlyFans. He's working on that right now, isn't he?
I think that's what he's doing. Posting videos. And you can find me as Bryant Nags on Instagram and Twitter. Gentlemen,
You can
it's been
find
a
me
pleasure today.
as Chavez. Chavez, pretty drunk,
Crazy.
pretty lazy.
Pretty simple. Well, that does it from us and News Across the Galaxy from Eddie, Edgar, and myself, and Chewy somewhere in his OnlyFans page. As always, boys,
Yeah.
keep on nagging. Let's go. Western Conference
Wu-Tang is
Finals. Let's
love,
go,
baby.
boys.
Wu-Tang for life, baby. Let's go.